My name is Lakshmi, and I'm a program manager for Azure SQL Data Warehouse. I'm going to talk about the integration between Azure Databricks and Azure SQL Data Warehouse service. So, what is Azure Databricks? Databricks is a service that is designed in collaboration with the founders of Apache Spark. It's one-click setup, unified analytics platform based on Apache Spark. It features a centrally stored, versioned, and secured interactive workspaces called notebooks, which enable collaboration between data scientists, data engineers, and business analysts. So now, what is Azure Databricks? Azure Databricks is not a bolt-on solution. It is a result of a unique collaboration between Azure and Databricks team to provide Databricks Spark services as an integral part of Microsoft Azure platform. It provides native integration with Azure services like blob storage, SQL Data Warehouse, Power BI, Cosmos DB, and so on. Azure Databricks comes with enterprise-grade Azure security like Active Directory integration, enterprise-grade SLAs, and so on. Now, in this session, I'm going to talk through the integration that we'll have between Azure Databricks and Azure SQL Data Warehouse. Before we go into the integration aspects, let me quickly give an overview of Azure SQL Data Warehouse service. Azure SQL Data Warehouse is a cloud-based enterprise data warehouse that leverages massively parallel processing capabilities to quickly run complex queries across petabytes of data. Azure SQL Data Warehouse is a key component of an end-to-end big data solution in the cloud. It's flexible. You can optimize cost by scaling compute and storage independently, pause and resume on demand. It is trusted because it has built-in advanced security features including encryption, audit, threat detection, Active Directory integration, and VNet. And it's the most compliant data warehouse services in the cloud with certifications like including GDPR. And last, it's fast, offers unlimited scale as well. Now, let's look at the modern big data warehouse solution in the cloud. In the cloud data solution, data is ingested into big data stores from a variety of sources. Once in a big data store, Azure Databricks and machine learning algorithms prepare and train the data. The cooked data can be moved into Azure SQL Data Warehouse that acts as a serving layer for the BI and reporting tools to communicate rich insights to the users. Azure Databricks will have a connector that will seamlessly move data back and forth between Azure Databricks and Azure SQL Data Warehouse. The key differentiating factor with this connector is that it will enable streaming data movement from Azure Databricks to Azure SQL Data Warehouse. Isn't it cool? Now, so let's get right into the demo. Today, we are going to see a demo using the New York taxi dataset. The New York taxi dataset has trip details like trip distance, total fare amount, tip amount, pickup and drop-off coordinates, and so on. This data is available in Azure SQL Data Warehouse, and business analysts and data scientists can get reports out of it. Now, imagine if a data scientist is looking at doing some predictive analytics and serve rich insights that help the business grow. Say, for instance, predict tip amount and the total fare amount based on the pickup zone and the estimated distance. And what if the pickup zone shows up the actual neighborhood names instead of just the coordinates? This is where Azure Databricks and SQL Data Warehouse integration comes handy. Azure Databricks can process large volumes of data, both structured and unstructured, at blazing speed, 100x faster than the other Spark implementations. So in this case, the data engineer or the data scientist can process the historical trip data, train it using a machine learning model to predict the tip and the total fare amount based on the estimated distance and the pickup zone, map the neighborhood names using the geo-shape files and the trip coordinates available in the trip data. As the new trip data comes in via the Kafka streaming, the machine learning model will be applied on it to show the predicted tip, predicted total fare, and the neighborhood names. Once the data is processed, that will now include the neighborhood names and the predicted tip and the total fare amount. It is then served using Azure SQL Data Warehouse. Now, the New York taxi company can make predicted total fare and the tip amount available to its consumers, and that helps the consumers to make an informed decision. Now, let's look at how this is done using Azure SQL Data Warehouse connector that will be available in Azure Databricks. All right, so As explained earlier, we have the New York City taxi cab data, the raw data, the pickup latitude, longitude, and the drop-off latitude, longitude, and all those data available. And the business analysts and the data scientists can actually get reports out of it. But this is not enough. Like we did mention about, hey, we can do a lot of advanced analytics on top of it. And that is where the integration between Azure Databricks and Azure SQL Data Warehouse shines. So now let me get into the Azure Databricks. So here you see that we are running a 4-node cluster of Azure Databricks natively here in Azure. And let's now go into the notebook where we have all the actions happening. So this is where the first here, this is where we actually load the SQL DW connector, which will actually move data back and forth between Azure Databricks and Azure SQL Data Warehouse. So the second step here, this is the ML models that we have trained. This is already trained. This is based on the past monthly data, predicting the total fare amount and the tip amount. So let's move down here. So we are streaming live data from Kafka. So you can see here the time at which the trip happened, the pickup latitude and longitude, and the estimated distance. So this comes in at, you can kind of visualize it here as well. Say it comes in like 2 records per second, and this is how it's getting processed. But this is not enough, right? So we need to enrich the data. And here comes the enrichment part of it, right? So we are loading the machine learning predictors and the geo neighborhood mappers here. This essentially maps the coordinates to the friendly neighborhood names, and the ML predictors give you the predicted tip and the predicted fare amount. So this is where the code that does all this magic. And here you go. So here you see the time, pickup latitude, longitude, estimated distance, which is all coming in from the live Kafka stream. But now you can see this here, right? So you can see the pickup zone, the predicted fare, and the predicted tip. And you can actually visualize it right in the Azure Databricks notebook environment itself, where you can see this live happening. We just took a sample pickup zone, the Midtown South, and we are seeing some analytics based on this, the predicted fare, the predicted tip. And you can also have some pie charts and stuff like that. You can do this analysis right away here. Imagine the power. The data engineer or the data scientist who's doing all these things can do some quick visualization. And then once it's all great, you can now move all the data that is all enriched from Azure Databricks into Azure SQL Data Warehouse. Here's where you actually call the connector and then just move this. This is the table that will get created in Azure SQL Data Warehouse with all the enriched data. Now, let's look at the sample Power BI report here. So here we did some reports around the trips that happened by pickup zone and then drop-off zone. There's a tree map that you have. Let me just go back here. It went to this one. So there's a tree map that says, say, for example, many trips happened based on the Midtown South pickup zone, right? From there, what are all the trips that happened, say, to Hudson, to Turtle Bay Lake, and all those other drop-off zones. So you can actually go drill deep into it. And you can also look at the predicted tip based on the pickup zone and the estimated distance. This is just a sample report, but you can do wonders with this, right? So you can share all these things live to the customer saying, hey, this is your predicted tip and predicted total fare, and just grow the business as such. We are super excited about Databricks coming into Azure, and especially the integration we will enable with Azure SQL Data Warehouse for customers to have an awesome, modern, big data warehouse solution that will help them with richer, faster, and reliable business insights. You can revisit Connect on Channel 9 and continue your education at Microsoft Virtual Academy online. Thank you.